Hello, everybody. Let's try this again. Sorry about that. That was a weird audio glitch. Now I can hear myself. Uh, StreamYard uh killed my mic, and I couldn't figure out why. But that is just that's how it goes when you're live. So welcome back. I hope that those of you who dropped off came on back here. This is Alvin Louie from Courage is a Habit. Welcome to our first episode of Courage After Dark in 2026. So, man, can you believe that this is 8 days in? We've got so much going on, and so share this live stream because we've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Some of it's related to education, some of it actually it's outside of education. I think there's going to be a lot of things that, well, there's one topic that every parent has to, begging parents, please get this right, is related to the Minnesota ice shooting there. But we're going to cover quite a few things. And I want to share a little bit about what I've been doing to kick off 2026. I was in Washington, D.C. for a better part of this week. And I wanted to just share some of the things that I was doing to hopefully encourage you, like I've been encouraged. The several days that I've been gone, and it's been a busy few days in Washington D.C. And it really, I think, is really going to set us up really well for kicking off 2026. So share this live stream now that we have the audio back. You know, I have to say, I've done these live streams now for quite some time, and you guys can't see this, but on the bottom to my left, I'm able to monitor my audio, and it'll be like, green, it doesn't go too far, doesn't go too soft. And I did not notice that there was no green when I was on last, and I should have. See, the thing, when you don't see it, you don't see it. That's how things get by everybody. That's how things get by everyone. And that happened to me tonight. So share this live stream. And I want to share some encouragement. So actually, there was a lot of reasons why I was in Washington, D.C. But one of the reasons was I was invited to this was a private meeting regarding the transgender fight. And it was full of doctors and different medical professionals, people, social workers, mental health professionals who have broken away from their actual profession because all of it's been so co-opted. And the thing that I wanted to share with you all that I took away was how inspiring it was to see other people fight the same fight that we do at Courage is a Habit, but from a different angle. Whether it's law, a lot of lawyers were in that meeting, a lot of doctors, obviously, different people from the parent groups. But what we had in common was we were fighting the same emotional blackmail, the doxing, and all that nonsense. And so even though whether someone's coming from law or medicine or the mental health side of it, or in my case the education side, we all had this thing in common of trying to get not the evil people, the evil CMAs, they want to mutilate children, but just the people who are not evil, how they get so hypnotized by all the things that we talk about, the emotional blackmail and language contamination and all the false equivalencies and those kind of things. And that was really the thing that I thought, a couple of things that really inspired me, that they were struggling through the same thing to get their people to wake up. And then we're sharing the success stories. I shared a lot of success stories. Obviously, they have as well, especially, in the law. There's a lot of great laws that are being passed, but those laws are being passed now at every level to try to keep mutilation and the drugs and stuff from hospitals, try to ban that from the hospitals. It's because of the grassroots of people like you, people who created that groundswell so that now these law firms are incentivized to take these cases, and they found great success. But what we've also found is the medical field and the education field shares one thing in common, is that the schools, the training grounds like medicine, medical schools, in our case, it'll be the teachers' colleges and places where they get the mental health degrees, colleges, and then of course the professional development that keeps going, like ASCA, that those institutions are still completely captured. So they're continually pumping out people that believe in this transgender nonsense. And so while we've taken a huge chunk out of dismantling the transgender cult, we haven't gotten to where they're producing the professionals. And that's what we largely talked about. So I shared that part with all of you because I wanted you all to be encouraged that whether you are in a small school district, big school district, where you're in a red area, blue area, that there are so many different people and organizations that are working really hard to dismantle the transgender cult, this evil that's all after children. And what you do in your local area really, really matters. I cannot stress how important it is that you keep fighting and digging in your local area. And I would say that as far as the war goes, the war against children, it is so much more important that you as parents get involved locally than whatever is happening at the Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security, and all those different things. All those things are important, but there's not a lot that the average person can do to affect that. But you can affect your school board, you can affect your city council, you can affect your mayor, you can ensure that you don't have weak Republicans in your city council. Those mean so much more, and that's what drives a lot of some of these bigger initiatives that, I was privileged enough to hear and listen and learn myself. And it was super, it was really encouraging to me. It was really inspiring to me. Sometimes when, when what we're doing, we can be kind of in this like dark little lab, producing tools and kind of doing our thing to build these tools and strategies for you guys. It's nice. It was really great to hear from other people as well. So that was one of the reasons why I was in Washington, D.C. And so that was really great. Um, Oh, also tonight I was testing also a different angle, different camera. So you'll see me kind of like switch a little bit to see how that works. And so you can bear with me if I like got it wrong and got two of me or something, something stupid like that. So um the other reason why I was in Washington, D.C. is that I actually got invited to a meeting at the White House, which is actually kind of funny to say. But it was with a specific department. And um I can't get too much detail into it, but what we've learned at Courage is a Habit now, we're approaching, in March will be 4 years. And we know that as long as there's all this federal funding, all the, billions of dollars, millions of dollars coming into schools, and then the school districts are giving it to all these NGOs and all these radical leftist organizations, that it's always going to be an uphill battle. And so one of the things that we were very privileged, and I have to say that there's two things I was so not only was I privileged to be invited to talk to this amazing department, but I was really impressed with how aggressive they are in going after all the funding that's being colossally wasted, because it's being given to all these leftist NGOs. So that was the first thing. Because look, I gotta tell you, Jen and I, my beautiful co-founder, Jennifer McWilliams, we've worked with a lot of legislators, both, obviously in all different states, here in Indiana. And we are so accustomed to these kind of milk toast weak Republicans. They just want to talk about everything at a superficial level. If it gets a little too deep, like about SCR mental health, they start to make excuses. It's disgusting. It really is. And so to see the Trump administration, or at least this department anyway, that I met with, to see them be so aggressive and understand that they've got to go after the funding. They're not going to let their empathy be weaponized. They're not going to be swayed by, well, what about the kids who need help? They understand that that's all nothing but a bait and switch. So I was super impressed about that because that is so hard to come by. The second thing I was impressed by was how humble they were in the sense that they understood what they knew, what they didn't know. They knew that there's a lot of things they didn't know. They knew that they don't know what they don't know. And they are looking at groups like Courage is a Habit, who does things at the ground level to be able to say, hey, we know where the money goes because these are the organizations that beat the hell out of parents. And so that was really great. So I was very for those two reasons, it was great. And so we're gonna be beyond what we've been doing over the last several years. We're also going to add another layer where we are going to hit hard from the top down, not just the bottom up. And it was really great to form that to meet with them and form that partnership. And so I'm super excited about 2026 because we're certainly adding a whole new arsenal, a whole new layer to our arsenal. So that was great. Also, I had several media, some shows. One network I've never been on was OAN, and I watch a lot of their shows, and I've never been on their network. And they did a spotlight on Courage is a Habit, and so I'm super excited for you guys to see that. That's going to come out next weekend. It was a weekend show with the always debonair John Hines from OAN, and then I did a couple other shows, and then also the really fun show I did was with my good friend Terry Schilling of the American Principles Project, and I can't wait for you guys to see that. We had a blast. We really had a blast, and in all the interviews and shows I did this past week, I did a few things that you've never seen me do before on camera. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We had a lot of fun doing it. I had a lot of fun doing it. And so one of the things also in 2026, what we do is so serious, and it is very serious, but I I want us to do more. I want us to move faster, and I want us to have more fun. We have fun laughing at all these, our enemies and all the CRT losers and woke white women and everything. But at the same time, too, I think that I'm gonna, we want to have more fun while we're doing some of these interviews and things like that. So I think you'll see some of that. So hopefully you'll enjoy that as well. So please share this live stream because I'm going to start hitting some of the. I want to talk about what happened in Minnesota, with ICE and with that stupid woke white woman that got herself killed. But it's really important that parents hear this. So I'm going to hit that in probably like about 10 minutes. I want to play you a video from. I'm going to go back. I'm gonna go back in time a little bit and play you a video from 2022 that I think hopefully will hit a lot harder now in 2026. But share this live stream with your followers because with the Minnesota thing, every parent needs to hear this because I'm going to tell you exactly how the schools are going to be spinning that. So, all right, let's go back in time a little bit. So this video we made in 2022, and you'll recognize that the voiceover is from my beautiful co-founder Jen. You'll recognize her voice for those of you who follow her or who listen to her on Spaces or on our show. When we made this video, people didn't understand it. It seemed so far away. But I hope that now, when you hear it, with the benefit of what's happened in the last, 3.5 years since we made this, every time you ask yourself, how did we get here? How did New York, where 9/11 happened, voted in an Islamic jihadist, a socialist, anti-white, hates white people, hate America, hates private property, the whole nine yards? How did we do that? How do we get where people are defending illegal aliens, drug dealers? How do we get here? Well, this is how. So here it is, 2022. Here's the flow of exactly how we got here.
From abstract Marxism to concrete communism. Marxism is a social, political, and economic theory originated by Karl Marx that focuses on the struggle between capitalists and the working class. Marx believed conflict between classes would lead to a violent revolution to overturn capitalism in favor of communism. He declared his philosophy will become reality when the working class take action to transform the world and human consciousness of it. His theory was reinvented in the 1970s as critical race theory. Critical race theory is a Marxian theory which uses race and identities as the central construct for understanding inequality. This scholarly and political approach to examining economic, political, social, and historical relationships focuses on a struggle between the oppressed and the oppressor. The application of this theory works to transform the perception of the people so that everything is viewed through a lens of race and oppression. The supporters work to overturn programs and policies they view as causing systemic racism and oppression to rid of inequitable outcomes. Finally, the transformation is complete when individualism and capitalism are eliminated and replaced with communism. Critical race theory in education argues the achievement gap and school discipline inequities are caused by practices, policies, and systems that are systemically racist and oppressive. When applying the critical race theory lens, practices, policies, and systems must be eliminated and replaced. This argument allowed the radical ideology to transform our entire education system. The practices, policies, and systems were replaced with ones that were designed to change the consciousness of those who participate and to create equitable outcomes for a collectivist society. To address the achievement gap, emotional.
What did Mandami say just the other day? We want to get rid of individualism and embrace collectivism. This is exactly how they're training your kids to think.
Support systems and traditional teaching practices were deemed systemically racist and oppressive. They were replaced with social emotional learning and culturally responsive teaching. Social emotional learning is a whole system change which psychologically manipulates the emotions of children to develop a critical race theory lens. Culturally responsive teaching is the practice of teaching children through the critical race theory lens. Social emotional learning and culturally responsive teaching both encourage students to become agents of change for a collectivist society. To address the school discipline inequities, zero tolerance policies were replaced with restorative justice policies. Restorative justice lessens or removes consequences for negative behavior by blaming a society of systemic racism instead of the individual. The policy change increases negative behaviors, creates unstable environments, and drives division among people and groups. Our education system used a Marxist theory to explain measurable outcomes and implement systemic changes to infect the consciousness of the children with a radical ideology. America will be dismantled one program, one policy, and one system at a time until the goal of the Marxist revolution is achieved. Communism.
America will be dismantled one policy, one program, one system at a time. We are quite literally watching exactly that. You cannot name one system that has been taken over by this woke ideology, which all that woke ideology is just communism. That's all. We call it woke, but it's really just communism. And so every time you ask yourself, or you hear someone go, how did we get here? How do we get all this fraud? How do we get all these illegal aliens? How is it that these illegal aliens are coming in and sucking us dry while we're having to budget and make ends meet? How do we get these mayors, these governors who hate America, who bow before all these illegals like the mayor over in Minneapolis or in Illinois or Newsom in California or whoever? Well, they got there because they were voted in. Well, who voted for them? Well, people. Well, the people were kids once. What did those kids get the idea? In your education system, in your K through 12, in your college. What she's talking about here is the same process in K through 12 or in college. It's just that this is so well concrete now in K through 12. You don't even really need to brainwash children in college anymore. You just activate them in college. Whereas, 25, 30 years ago, you would have to brainwash a child in college. But this flow is so ubiquitous and it's already saturated every single state's education system, the K through 12, that by the time they get to college, they don't even need to go through the system. They just activate them. They're already down. They're basically the consciousness has already been infected by the time they get to college. So I hope that this video hits a little bit different. In the beginning of 2026, when you see the Teslas burning, when you see climate changeism, when you see all this young people doing this stuff, understand that is by design. And that flow that she so brilliantly and beautifully took us through is that design. Okay, share this live stream. Let's switch gears to Minnesota. All right. So likely you've seen the video of this insufferable woke white woman who blocked ICE. And when they try to move her car, she tried to run one of them over. And then he opened fire and then killed her. You have likely seen, all the different people talking about it. But if you have children in K through 12, even if they're in public, even if they're in private schools, okay, even if they're homeschool, because it's going to be everywhere, but especially when they're in, public school or even private school, I beg of you, please get to your children first, okay? Show them the video that's been going around of her trying to run over the ICE officer and him shooting her. Your schools will teach your children that ICE is Nazis and fascists and Trump is killing people. Quite literally, Jimmy Kimmel on his show had a t-shirt that says, Trump will kill you. This is going to be the entire narrative in all the systems because they own all the systems. The same people that have allowed illegal aliens in this country are the same people that own the education system, the teachers' unions. So I want you guys to think of it this way, okay? Think of it this way. When you send your children to K through 12, government K through 12, they put an IV in their arm, okay? They stick an IV in their arm. So anytime they want to inject propaganda and what Jen was talking about, infecting their consciousness, anytime they want to infect their consciousness, change their worldview, they already got the IV in there. That's what SCL is all about, is changing the culture. So when this happens, it takes them no time at all for all of them to be in lockstep. And they will deliver that message that ICE just killed this poor woman. This poor woman, she was just watching innocently. She was going to drive away and they shot her in the face. That's it. That's how they're going to say. And they're going to say, we need to oppose and rebel and against Trump because he's a Nazi and all that kind of stuff. That is what they're going to teach your children. Okay. That's what they're going to teach your children. They never let these things go to waste. They never do. Okay. So if you're only consuming, social media and you're watching your favorite influencers and things of that nature, talk about it, but you're not talking to your kids about it. Your schools are talking to your kids about it. So if you get nothing else out of this live stream, I'm begging you, please. I am begging you as parents, please show that video to your children and explain to them that this woman was trying to keep illegal aliens in this country, illegal aliens that hurt and murder other Americans, that she was getting in a way of law enforcement who was trying to get these people out because President Trump wants these people out of this country, just like most Americans want these illegal aliens out of this country. And she was trying to impede on that. And she was trying to kill an officer, and he shot her. That's it. So you have to inoculate your children. You have to get the truth to them first, or the schools are going to do it for you. And then we're going to start that conversation all over again. How did my child turn this way? Why did they vote like that? I don't understand. So if you don't get to them first, that's the narrative the school's going to do. So please, if you have children in K through 12, talk to them. Now, obviously, you have to do it depending on the age, but you still have to get that in their brain, because it doesn't matter. Don't tell a kindergartner how ICE is killing people and killing brown people and killing people that want to help brown people. It's the schools have no bottom. They have no bottom. So you have to get there. So please, this is the most important thing beyond anything else. Okay. Beyond what's happening nationally, beyond what's happening in Venezuela, any of those things that you're following, if you're spending a lot of time doing that, but you're not spending time talking to your children about these major events and making sure that you're getting your teaching into your children first, your schools will brainwash your children about what happened in Minnesota. Okay. That is what the school is set up for. That's what culturally responsive teaching is. That's what social emotional learning is. So they have that IV in there already. All right. So sticking on the topic of ICE. This drives me absolutely insane. Okay. This drives me absolutely insane. Every time something major like this happens, our side, and I know our side is kind of a misnomer. So I can say conservatives, but normal people, just normal average people. Okay. Normal average people. We always fall for this trap. We always get this tactic wrong, and it drives me insane. And we're seeing it now. So likely, if you follow this story in Minnesota, where she tries to drive her car into the ICE agent and then he shoots her, if you've been following this in any capacity, what have you seen? They slow the video down. They take other footage from other cameras, and there's 3 or 4 angles, 5 angles of the incident. They look at the tire. Did she turn her tire 1 degree to the right? Did she turn it to the left? Was he right in front of her? Was he sort of in front of her? Did he have time to move away? Could he have time to move away? No, he only had a split second. He couldn't move away, but he could draw his gun. We analyze the video. We slow it down to a snail's pace, and we just look at it over and over and over again. Why do we do that? We do that because we're good people. We're good people. We're honest to a fault, and we think facts matter. Facts don't matter when it comes to winning culture wars and narratives. If facts mattered, we would not have a transgender cult. If facts mattered, we would not have DEI and BLM, because all of that's built on lies. And I'm going to prove it to you right now how this is the wrong tactic. When George Floyd was arrested and he died of an overdose. He was already he couldn't breathe already before Officer Chauvin got into the scene. Let me ask you something. Did our enemies, the Marxists, the Democrats, the leftists, lunatics, did they play the arrest video from 6 different angles and slowed it down to be sure his knee was on his neck? Because it wasn't. It was for a moment. They took that picture and that was it. Did we demand 6 body cams because there were so many officers around that day? And did we slow down that video and analyze every single thing that George Floyd did and every single thing that the cops did and try to break that narrative? We did not. And our enemies didn't offer that because they know it was a lie. What did they do? There was no video. They didn't play any video. They took one shot from one angle and they blasted it out 5 trillion times until they fundamentally changed this country. Every school, every college, every corporation needed to bow and confess their white guilt and donate to BLM. You, in your corporate office, in your corporate job, had to take anti-bias training. You, parents, had to agree with all this DEI equity bullshit in your children's schools. And the Marxists and the communists, which is the Democratic Party these days, built that on the back of a legitimately, objectively piece of shit. A career criminal who did not spend one day of his life being positive to society. And they were able to change the country on that because they understood how to drive a narrative. When he said, "I can't breathe," he called out to all the mothers. Shit like that. So when this lady gets herself killed, what do? We slow the video down to a snail's ass. We analyze every angle. It doesn't matter. That's not the fact that we should be focused on. Here's the fact that we should be focused on. This is it, okay? Nothing else. Right here. That's it, folks. She died protecting dangerous gang members, illegal aliens, and fraudulent Somalis. That's why she died. That's it. It doesn't, the videos, no matter how much you slow it down, none of it matters. She was out there standing up to keep illegal aliens in this country. Now they'll say, well, she left kids behind. You know, this is the same group that 4 months ago laughed and cheered when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. An objectively peaceful man having debate and conversation with college kids out in broad daylight. They assassinated him. And the same group that's trying to get you to cry for her kids laughed and cheered and said, I hope his kids are getting taken away and raised in foster care around so that they're not raised as hateful bigots like Charlie Kirk. So these people don't care about her or her kids. They're trying to weaponize your empathy again. So have we learned our lesson? Have we learned our lesson to not try to fight at a factual level? Because it doesn't matter. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. Now, does that mean we should celebrate her death? No, that's for them to do because they're evil. But we don't need to care about it either. Because you know what? You know who I care about? Is not the kids that she left behind, because that was her responsibility. She left those kids behind. She did that to herself. What I care about, and what we should all care about, are the countless American children that lost a mom or a dad to an illegal alien. We should care about the countless American parents who lost a child to illegal aliens. And this is something that a lot of people won't have the guts to say, but I'll say it. If we don't have the courage to say, I don't care that she died, I only care about the Americans that are not going to be killed because ISIS deporting people, deporting illegal aliens. If you don't have the gall to say that, then I'll tell you right now, our opponents, the leftists, the radical leftists, the people who love BLM and trans and kids and open borders, they will always win. They will always win because they'll weaponize your kindness and your empathy. You have to be able to point your compassion to the right group. And the correct group isn't her. It isn't George Floyd. It isn't these pieces of shits who just want more crime in your cities. The compassion should be pointed to the law-abiding citizens, which is the majority of Americans, who are quite literally funding with our tax dollars illegal aliens to kill us. We are paying for their health care. We are paying for their cell phones. We are giving them money. We are housing them just so that they can hurt and kill us, the law-abiding American citizens. So, yeah, no, we don't have to celebrate her death, nor should we, but we don't have to care about it either. And until we have the courage and the backbone to say that, they will always be able to weaponize these kind of incidents against us. So the question remains, have we learned our lesson yet? I don't know. We'll see in the coming days and weeks. Have we learned that lesson? Or are they going to keep weaponizing these people who have done this to themselves, who wants to keep illegal aliens in this country? So we will see. I did want to play you one video that I thought was pretty damn good. I just saw it maybe like 2 hours ago, and I threw it on this thread.
About whether or not the ICE agent should have shot the lady.
Yeah, I'll play that back here.
Everybody want to talk about whether or not the ICE agent should have shot the lady. I'm trying to figure out why she was there in the first place. You got a son, you got a family. You out here defending Pablo and Julio like they give a damn about you. Go home and protect your son. Can't do that now, it's too late. Worried about the wrong shit. And it's the problem. When you start dating people, you need to find out what their politics are. What side of the fence are they on? Because I'm starting to realize all the crazies is a bunch of liberals. They're the crazy ones. What woman of yours is going to be out on the front lines battling for fucking Carlos? Carlos is in here illegally. He need to go back to his country. Worry about the wrong shit. Got yourself killed. Good job. Everybody wants...
She's out there battling for Carlos. So they try to weaponize, what about the kids she left behind? Well, she was out there battling for Carlos. Okay. And all the Somalians and all the Haitians. And guess what? They're here illegally. They don't give a shit about her. And she's out there standing up for them because of white guilt and white shame and all the bullshit that woke white women go through and they absorb. Or as in our tool, a dose of useful idiots, they've never met a social contagion they didn't love. That's the woke white women. And he's absolutely right. Instead of being home with your children, you're out there battling for Carlos, who don't give a shit about you, who actually, Carlos would have killed her if he had a chance. These illegal aliens, these Haitians, these Africans, and all these Islamic people that they've allowed in this country, they would have killed her. They would have slit her throat and raped her 9 ways from Sunday if they had a chance. And she's out there battling for them and gets herself killed. So until we can talk about it like that, yeah, they're going to always weaponize empathy against us. So it's time we talk about it in that sense. Because if they don't, they're going to keep weaponizing our empathy or kindness. They're going to keep doing this to our children. Let's read this here. This is just an update from Homeland Security. Okay, I'll read it. It's kind of small. You probably can't see it if you're watching it on the phone. So I will read this. This is from Homeland Security. At 2:19 Pacific time today, U.S. border agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with a transnational prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang. I don't know how to pronounce that gang. When agents identified themselves as the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle. There you go again. And attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger, fleeing the scene. This situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. So, two quick things here. Number one, these are the people that stupid woke white woman that got herself killed was standing up for. These people. Violent gangs, prostitution ring, trafficking. That was who she is standing up for when she was getting her car blocking ICE from doing their job. So you got to focus on that. That's why I made that graphic. That's why she died. She died standing up for these people. And that's all you have to focus on. Don't get distracted by all this other emotional blackmail. Okay. It's just like the trans cult. A lot of emotional blackmail. Just just build your castle on a solid rock and sit there. Don't let them move you. That's the only story you have to focus on. That's the only fact you have to focus on. Second thing. Now, obviously, I'm completely I'm assuming or guessing here. I have no idea because I'm just reading this update from Homeland Security. They said that he tried to run the agent over, the ICE agent over, just like that woman, and then he took off. So it looks like that he might have even, tried to run him over even harder than she did. And he fired one shot, a defensive shot, they said. And then the driver got away, so he didn't hit him. Because this happened at 2:19 today, this was after the stupid woman got herself killed in Minnesota. Perhaps this ICE agent, hesitated for half a second because of what's happened. Maybe he didn't want to fire 2 or 3 shots in the car. Maybe. I have no way to know. I'm taking a guess here. But it would stand to reason that you hearing all this stuff from the legacy media, which of course is going to cover for that stupid woke white woman. And then you've got obviously the Democrats screaming about ICE killing people. And you know what? Maybe in that moment, he just hesitated just a split second and fired 1 shot instead of 3. So now these violent, illegal gang members got away. Whereas maybe if he didn't have that split second and he fired more shots, he would have hit one of them or both of them, or at least the driver, and they wouldn't have gotten away. Now, obviously, I can't know that. But these highly trained officers are still human as well. Just like officers around the country after George Floyd hesitate when they use force, when they shouldn't. So all this narrative has a huge impact, a downstream impact that we can't predict. So it's very important that all of us as Americans, as patriots, that we make our voices heard as often as we can, whether it's offline, online, is to say we support ICE, even if it means offending family, friends, coworkers, whatever. Gone are the days where we're like, well, I want to stay out of politics. I don't want to offend anybody. This is not 1995. This is not even 2005. So we can't afford that. The Trump administration, what Homeland Security is doing, what Tom Homan's doing, what Gnomes is doing, they hearing from the American people and saying, hey, do more of what you're doing. Keep going, do more of it. It really, really matters. It truly does. You don't think it does. You think they're just sitting up there. It doesn't, but when they hear from the American people, when they hear from patriots and law-abiding citizens, it does truly matter. Like I said earlier in the top of the show there, I had met with a wonderful department up at the White House this past week. And, I told them how much we appreciate what they're doing and how much of a help it is when they start withholding the money so that our opponents don't have endless money to beat the shit out of parents with. And just the team, the aides that are working there, they were so grateful for that, just to hear that thanks. So if you want to make a difference, number one, obviously be involved in your children's school, local city council. That's the most important thing. It's more important than any of the national stuff. It's certainly more important than any of the geopolitics, right? None of us can do anything about that. But to speak when something like this happens, to speak out and say, we stand with ICE. We want more deportation. Keep going. You know what? Whatever happened to her, that's on her, right? Stop blocking ICE. Stop trying to stand up for illegal aliens. And if you got yourself killed, that's on you. Hearing that from the American people and not hearing any of the guilt and the empathy being weaponized, it goes a long way. It really, really does. What else do I want to share? Oh, I did have something. Actually, I kind of need your help. You guys listening, watching on, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, X. Hang on. Let me grab. I need an email here. Well, did I delete that email? Okay, let me I have an email that I want to share with you guys. Okay. So I need your help on something. So we're looking specifically for Seattle parents. So if you are in Seattle or you know someone in Seattle, the parents with children in schools, we know that every day you drop your kids off, there's some discrimination happening. Either they're forcing pronouns or they're talking about, anti-white and white guilt and America's oppressive and white people are oppressive and that kind of thing. Anything like that, any DEI, any skin color this and transgender this, which is, again, if you drop your kids off at Seattle public schools, you get them all day long. We would like to help you or some parents. But we need you guys to reach out to us because we just started working with a law and policy firm that would like to take on a couple of cases in Seattle. And so at the very least, they can listen to your story. And obviously the more information you have, the more receipts you have, the better. But we would like to talk to you. So if you are in Seattle and you have, that your children's been put through this DEI, this especially if they're white, please drop us an email at FAFO@courageisahabit.org. That's FAFO@courageisahabit.org and put Seattle. Now, this email is kind of like our tip line, or send us information and, we'll do our best to do something with it. We don't always get to everything. So not to say that if you're not in Seattle and you have things, certainly send it to us. I'm not saying that. So this is not just for Seattle, but specifically with this one firm that we just started to partner with, we want to help a few Seattle parents. If you are not in Seattle and you have some receipts, some videos, you logged into the Chromebook and you can show us something, also please send your receipts and your story to FAFO@courageisahabit.org. And if we can't help you, we will definitely try to move you to a firm that could. If it's not this firm that I'm talking about, we do have, over the years now, especially last year, we really started to, partner with a couple of connections here so that we can offer parents some heavy hitting beyond just, sending opt-out forms and going to school board meetings, So Seattle, I'm talking to you. FAFO at courageisahabit.org. Okay. All right. I don't know. So what is this? Thursday? Do I want to announce this yet? Maybe. Okay, what the hell? So next week, and you heard it here first. I didn't post about it. I wasn't going to talk about it until tomorrow. I will be at the front steps of the Supreme Court supporting two very big cases. They're both in schools. Both cases are in schools, and it's considering Title IX. The Supreme Court is listening to two cases, two different schools about keeping boys out of girls' sports. And so this is huge. It's sad that we have to have the Supreme Court listen to something like this. This is how far our enemies, the Marxists, the communists, have moved the Overton window. Exactly what Jen said in that flow that she made in 2022. This is how far we've infected the consciousness that we need the Supreme Court to listen to that. But this is where we're at. And I am very excited to join a lot of amazing people at the front steps of the Supreme Court next week. And so I'm home for a couple of days and heading back to DC for that. So I am super honored, super excited. We'll share a couple more things over the next week and the weekend leading up to that. And then I'll probably go live a little bit when I'm up, at the steps there. But it's an honor to be invited, obviously, to support the law firm and the people that are bringing the lawsuit that's brought them all the way to the Supreme Court, two different schools. And certainly we expect that to go our way. And then we'll talk about what happens when it goes our way. What does that mean for you all in different states? So lots of really exciting thing. And it feels like it's hard to believe that this is just the first 2 weeks of January. So certainly we're working hard and we're kicking off the year. Late last year, we really started to think, okay, what do we want our 2026 to look like? And we really we have a lot of audacious goals, a lot of aggressive goals. And it's okay if we don't hit them, but we're really going to try our best. We've got a lot of big projects, a lot of things that are really going to take a big chunk out of our opponents. And largely that's possible because of you guys and, the support you've given us. So if you, whether you share our tools, whether you donate to us, whether it's $10, $20, $5, $10 a month, whatever it is, it goes a long way to our team here. It allows us to travel, allows us to do a lot of different things, allow us to pay for things like StreamYard for the year. The more we use it, the subscription goes up and all those kind of things. So, seriously, thank you so much for all your support, for your donations, for your sharing our tools, for watching the live stream, sharing our stuff, talking about us, handing out our tools, handing out our strategies. All that really adds up. And I feel like 2026 is going to definitely be our best year. And certainly we're starting off super hard and super strong. So I wanted to at least do a Courage After Dark to kick off 2026. I had a lot to update and everything, of course. So support us, of course, is donate.courageisahabit.org. That's donate.courageisahabit.org. Or you go to courageisahabit.org. And of course, don't forget, going to courageisahabit.org is where our tools, our strategies, and everything that we've built over the years is in. That's the catalog. If you know parents that are just getting into this fight, I invite you to have them just drop by our website and start. Well, we always say start the same place. Very easy. Start the surveys. Start the surveys and then move to school counselors. That is how everybody should get into it. Just get your kids out of the surveys. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Alvin Louie with Courage is a Habit. And I will see you next time. And as we always say, if you don't stand up for your children today, they will live on their knees tomorrow.